Had all the time in the world to talk about this, but since gaming is so bad, now he feels the need to discuss it because he knows he want to blame Microsoft for this. It's all their fault, and the way the gaming industry is the way it is. When in reality, it's been a fundamental problem within our industry for the past 10 years. This is what we was trying to explain to you. So when every time you look at that Phil Spencer interview, when he sits there and tells you that ain't nobody gonna pick up a platform for exclusive games, he's right. Because these people are so caught up and comfortable with the gaming experiences that they have already, they're not gonna go pick up a platform for one. That was the whole point. And y'all want to sit there and say, oh, it's because PlayStation got better exclusives. And how are those exclusives doing in sales? Exactly. They're not selling that well because your general audience ain't nothing but a bunch of casuals picking up your platform, waiting for the next NBA 2K and Grand Theft Auto 6. It is what it is. Okay, now they loving Fortnite because they get a chance to play as Shaquille O'Neal. That's what these gamers are looking forward to. Nobody cares about your exclusives. I know it hurts you, it pains your heart to understand that the gaming industry no longer caters to you. And that was the point that Microsoft was trying to make. But of course, typical ponies, they gotta find a way to feel as if it's some form of a victory when it was never a victory for us. This was the whole problem. We knew this, man. Ever since free-to-plays and microtransactions, all these anti-consumer practices that have been pushed amongst our gaming industry, we knew this was going to come to its inevitable end. Now, gaming is not necessarily going to end in the way that we think of, but it's going to end in the way where we want to just stop continuing on, which to me, that is an end. The day I decide to say, you know what, I'm done with gaming, that's the end. I don't care how many Call of Duty games y'all got after this. If I say gaming is trash and I don't see myself going back to it and I'm still playing retro games, which I have been, then to me, the gaming industry is already dead.
And as it currently exists, I have a feeling that here in the next couple of years, gaming is about to get a lot worse, but in a different way.
And now you take notice. It's crazy because you would have thought by the Sega Dreamcast, you would have realized, like, hold on, this platform had this many games in 1 year and 8 months, and these consoles have been out for 4 years, and they got more games than the Nintendo Switch, PS5, and the Xbox Series X. You would have thought that, considering that you got a Dreamcast hat on your head, but apparently you didn't play that either, Mr. PlayStation fan guy.
In 2024, we've had a bunch of games that launched broken, that were overpriced, that straight up did not have enough features, unoriginal, or just in general, it feels like gaming has hit this weird rough patch where it feels like 90% of the stuff that's released sucks or is just suckier than it's supposed to be. But let's talk about
it is, bro. Like, it's so crazy that even a game like Duke Nukem Forever, which was torn to pieces, is far better than any game that you guys are playing now, man. You got this woke culture, you got this DEI. I mean, you people ain't never happy. It is what it is, man. And as much as you people, it pains your heart to say this, it's true. Gaming is over. The true essence, the true passion of what made us fall in love with gaming is gone. I don't care what any of you people say, oh, well, we still got a few handful of titles, but what happened to the hundreds and thousands of games that we once played growing up? Now we got to look forward to a handful of select titles. And I'm going to explain to you guys as to why Sparking Zero is looking good to me. Yeah, the characters, there's definitely some improvements, but there's no competition. That's the reason as to why the game even looks good now, because there's nothing for the game to compete with. That's what's embarrassing. And to be honest with you, after looking at the game, it does look a lot more promising, but that's just because all these other companies ain't doing nothing. Ain't nobody cared about no Dragon Ball Z games back then because you know why? They were too busy playing other great games that they had. Now I'm hearing that this game is outselling Call of Duty Black Ops 6 in pre-orders. You tell me if the gamers are just tired of playing the same thing. Because there is a lot of fools that are, and I do think people are getting nostalgic for the time, but also, too, there's a lot of glazing for that game. Like I said, y'all need to chill out with the glazing. But besides that, this is revitalizing an old franchise, is bringing back something that has been stagnant for a long time, so there's the hype and engagement. Like I said, I'm still keeping mine right in the middle. I'm not going to completely go over. I still have my concerns in regards to the combat, but it also goes to show you that some people want to see something a little different. And I think that's the reason as to why Elden Ring was so successful.
A new quote that came out that is kind of riling up the internet. Hi, hope you're having. Not every video game has to be for every person.
Is this man really playing his Nintendo Switch? Bro, what are you doing, bruh? Like, you look mad awkward doing this. And look at what type of shirt he got on, bro. What are you doing? This man got people walking from behind him playing his Nintendo Switch, man. Come on, bro. You wasn't out there playing this game for hours. You had to just sit there and take a screenshot.
I feel like the worst part of
like, how? Like, why does everybody looking at this dude like, you know what? They're not even acknowledging him.
Era of media.
Look at this.
I feel like we've gotten to the Netflixification where back in the day, if you wanted to watch like a gritty, crazy television show, you'd turn on something like HBO. You'd watch The Sopranos, one of my favorite shows of all time. If you wanted a silly comedy, you turn to the animation.
This man's out here playing Nintendo Switch, man. Like, I'm enjoying my life, guys, as life goes past him by, you know. Like, what, bro, there's a time and place for things, man. You could at least play this on a table or something. Out here, man, thinking he from Japan.
Fox, you see,
playing on the
Family
floor.
Guy back to back with The Simpsons.
You better be careful, man. This dude gonna be playing on your sidewalk.
Every channel was trying to do its own thing, but now in the era of streaming services and subscribing to freaking streaming services, every freaking streamer is trying to do everything at once. Netflix is trying to do anime, and I almost think it's the fact that it's a tinier game that's focused on a particular audience. They don't know what the fans want. No one does. This is a quote a lot of people talked about, and I feel like it's such a great point.
What you people don't understand, a lot of these old school gamers, they probably don't even exist anymore, man. Remember, you was a kid when the Dreamcast came out. There was probably people that was 40 years old that picked up the Dreamcast. There was people that was probably 30 years old that picked up the Dreamcast. Dreamcast guy, they're about 50 to 60 years old now. So for you guys to say, I don't understand why the gaming industry is the way it is, you have to remember that the grown-ups that were playing games back then, they don't exist. They have moved on with their life, man. They probably got people changing their diapers. The last thing they worried about is playing a game, you know? And I think the only ones that are hurt is the ones that seen our fathers and our siblings going out there playing these games. We're the ones being hurt. They had their fun. They're completely over this hobby. You know, they're just enjoying life, retired or doing something. But we're stuck in this void like, yeah, we still want a little bit more of this, man. We didn't get to that age that that makes us feel fulfilled in life and everything that we've done and accomplished. So, we still love a lot of the things like gaming. They were able to enjoy it for their 40, 50 years plus life. We don't have that. It was fun and then it just completely stopped. And we're like, well, what's this? We out here grasping for straws. We're looking for needles and haystacks because we're like, where did all the fun stop? Things was just getting started. And now everything's gone, and now we all feel disappointed.
This guy here does a bunch of stuff with Super Beard Bros, all sorts of stuff. Alex Farsi, this guy is super smart, and he said this: just let people who are good at stuff try stuff. Some will fail, but movies used to have like 50-year tales. Backlash is good. It means bold decisions were made. Disney made better stuff before they listened to us. And this is such a great point because we're going to talk about movies, but also the video game aspect of it. Like back in the day when they started making Final Fantasy.
Oh, here we go with this back in the day stuff. Back in the day, all these things that are going on wasn't widely accepted. You see, and this is why I try to explain to you guys that everything is a product of your time period. I mean, think about it. All these games that you guys played in the 80s was all based off some Arnold Schwarzenegger or Rambo. They were based off movies. Why do you think Contra has essentially xenomorphs in their game? Because it's based off the Aliens movie. You got to understand, these movies came out, back in the 79, 80s? Bro, come on, bro. That's like 40 years ago. You really think these people still here? The ones that made the game were probably older than the game that was made. Yo, you guys got to get yourself evaluated, bro. I'm not saying this from a person. I love those movies. I love those games. I love everything that they have provided us within the gaming community. All I'm saying that the games that you have now is a reflection of your time period. You guys say that things have gotten soft. Look at it. Even your games have gotten soft. It is what it is, bro. It's no different than music and how hip hop, rock, and all these things change before your very own eyes. What, you're gonna still are you gonna still enjoy your hobby, or you're not gonna enjoy it anymore because they decided to change rap music into this, because it's not hip hop, the hip it, and a hip with a hip hop with the bang bang. Like, I mean, what is it, bro? They talk about different things now. You can disagree, you can argue, you can complain about it as much as you want, but that's what these young folks want. And now, before people say, well, GameStop, a lot of the new people don't like this stuff too. Well, they're trying to capitalize on this market because you guys are not bringing that type of money.
No Final Fantasy before that. They didn't know if it would be a success. I mean, famously, the name of Final Fantasy is
it was designed. It was named Final Fantasy because it was their final game if it failed.
Because they were about to go bankrupt. It was the final dream of the studio at the time, Sunsoft, to make a game that would hopefully help them break even. So they put all their hopes and dreams into it, and it was their stuff at the time when it initially released. A bunch of movies came out and bombed back in the day that now are very, very much beloved darlings. And it's
that's funny. Same thing could be said about Xbox games. Y'all be bashing them, and then the next minute, y'all love them. It's crazy, man. And my dad's always told me, he finds it so funny that the things that people used to make fun of him for buying, like the Turbo Graphics and all this, because I tell him that these things are expensive. He's like, wow, people back then, you could buy these in bargain bins. Nobody really cared about this stuff. Now everybody's going crazy for it because instead of them going off with the general hype, they go back and look at it like, wow, this game was actually more incredible than I thought. That's why we don't take the opinions of professional gaming journalists, because they'll stop you from enjoying good quality games because they can't play them or if they have an inherent bias. This is why I don't care about review scores, guys, because it doesn't matter. It's so funny that every failing platform costs a lot of money, and y'all want to sit there and equate that, well, it's because they don't have a lot of prints or they don't have a lot of consoles or games. Yeah, but a bad game is a bad game nonetheless, regardless of how many copies sold. Okay? That doesn't matter. There's a reason as to why people want to go back to these games, because there's something they missed out on, and they want to be able to re-cherish those memories that they had when they was out here playing games back in the 90s.
Because they didn't listen to the studios. It's because they didn't listen to the audience. It's because they did just want to make good stuff. Say goodbye to anything interesting happening in the huge franchises. No more swings, no more bold choices, just pandering to the most boring section of the fan base. Now, I like this because I think we're in a weird spot where fans are right a lot of the times. I'm not going to act like...
No, they're not. No, they're not.
The fans are wrong about everything. It's the fact that if you're trying to do something different, unique, fun, bold, fulfilling, it takes those dangerous moves, right?
What do you think that they're doing? So you can't say that, because what they're doing to me is more dangerous, because it's jeopardizing everything that the company represents. Regardless if you guys say sweet baby Inc. or whatever these narratives or whatever the case is, that is way more bold because you're appealing to a market that's never really cared enough to buy your games. You're appealing to a demographic that is essentially worse than casuals. Okay? So you're saying that... hold on. See, this is why I don't understand these people. You guys saying that it's more bold that they would appeal to you guys in comparison to appealing to a crowd that's not even into your games? That's even more bold because they're taking a gamble and taking a chance on something that's probably not going to work. Like, you get what I'm saying? Now, if they could rely on you, that's fine, but then they realize that it only comes down to a certain bracket of money. Oh, okay, that's good. We got enough fans that supported it, but we only breaking even. We need to make a little bit more money if we want to be able to continue on, and that's why gaming has gotten easier to appease to casuals. This has been a fundamental problem ever since the gaming community has existed. You don't think people was complaining about NES games being hard? They made it easier on the Super Nintendo. How do you think those people felt? Oh, well, they're making games easy. How do you... Like, my dad personally, he did not like the 3D generation of PS1 and the N64. So how do you think he felt when gaming was shifting away towards, more 3D games, which my dad didn't care for? He didn't care about 3D games until the PS3 came out. So that's what I'm trying to say. Somebody's going to get hurt in this ordeal, and it is what it is. And this is why I try to explain to you, things are a reflection of your time period.
Like, I worked at a bookstore for 10 years. I've read lots of...
I don't care. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, man. Like I said, now we out here talking about books, bro. We seen the books you be reading. Take care, guys. Peace out.